Well, it's been another 7 days gone by and Sport Week is back on your screens. I'm also back on the platform after being away for a couple of weeks. In my absence, Bayo came on as a fine substitution and he played very well. Kudos to him. The week has been very busy with plenty of action both on the local and foreign front. Golfers converged in Lagos for a one-day championship. The Nigerian Wrestling Championship also commenced in Port Harcourt. These were some of the high points, plus the football extravaganza the UEFA Champions League provided on Tuesday and on Wednesday. Welcome. This is Sport Week with me, Promise Efoghe. On the show, despite North Korea's security threat, their participation in the 2018 Winter Olympics is being considered. That's on top story.
And it comes to the near post. Rico doesn't make contact.
UEFA Champions League highlights make up top action. Super Eagles' goalkeeping position remains a cause for worry. Pundits try to influence coach Gennett Rohr's choice on side view. The program is Sport Week.
Kim Jong-un, grandson of founder Kim Il-sung, has made sport a major focus of his plan to improve living standards. Since he assumed power in 2011, spending on sport in the nation's annual budget has risen faster than most other areas. The reports, which only give percentage data, include a record 17% jump in funding in 2014 when Kim set out his ambition for sport in an open letter to his Workers' Party. At the 2014 Asian Games in South Korea, North Korea's athletes won 11 gold medals, ranking 6th, and were welcomed with a victory parade and a banquet with Kim, who thanked them for validating the party's plan for building a sports powerhouse. Kim has traded insults and nuclear threats with U.S. President Donald Trump for months, raising concerns that the games due to be held at an alpine resort 80 kilometers from the world's most heavily fortified border could be marred by political tensions or worse. Economic sanctions on the reclusive nation are mounting, but the sporting world and South Korea are doing everything in their part to try to coax Pyongyang to accept an invitation to the games and relieve geopolitical tensions that have hurt ticket sales.
If North Korean leader Kim Jong-un decides to have North Korea participate in the Pyeongchang Olympics, firstly, Kim would have the chance to rid himself of the bad reputation he has made in the international society.
North Korea missed an October 31st deadline to accept invitations from the International Olympic Committee (IOC) and South Korea to join the Games. But Games officials have said the North could wait until shortly before the Games to say whether it will join.
By participating in the Olympics, their perspective can be broadened to a global level. Both North and South Koreans could reflect on it, and this could even be about unification.
The IOC said itself so far has mainly been with travel and competition costs, and it will consider wildcard entries for those who do not meet qualification standards. Seoul has said it is even open to forming a unified North-South ice hockey team. Pyongyang's IOC representative dismissed that idea in a recent media interview, but the South Korean Culture Ministry official said Seoul had not abandoned it.
Indeed, Pyeongchang represents perhaps the most sincere effort to cross frozen border between South and North and to foster a peaceful environment.
If the North joins the February 9 to 25 Games, it will mark the first time in post-war Olympic history that the country has hosted a team from a nation it is officially at war. The Korean War ended in 1953 with an armistice, not a peace treaty.
So, South Korea will host its first Winter Olympics at the resort town of Pyeongchang next February. They see the Winter Games as an opportunity to engage North Korea and restore stability in the Korean Peninsula. But on the other hand, there are insinuations that perhaps North Korea's participation at the Winter Games could provoke conflicts, as North Korea may view an international sporting event as an avenue to undermine South Korea as an advanced and stable country by demonstrating their own military capabilities. On the flip side, Nigeria may be making history at the Winter Games with the qualification of 3 ladies, Segun Adigun, Akuma Omioga, and Ngozi Onwumere for the bobsled event. The commendable feat comes 30 years after Jamaica made a remarkable presence in bobsled at the Winter Games. But these Nigerian ladies have written their names in gold by becoming the first African team to qualify for the bobsled category at the Games. Move on, ladies. Nigerians are solidly behind you all. Well, talking about persons in sports that are really getting the support of Nigerians, one of them is the president of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria, Francis Obi. The reason is simple and visible. Francis Obi, since elected president of the Nigeria Badminton Federation, has been steering the sport commendably towards the right direction. Nigerian badminton players have become very busy lately with regional and national championships. In fact, 2 national tournaments were recently held in Katsina and Lagos. Francis Obi now joins the program from his base. Thank you so much for your time, Francis. Well, I'll start by asking you, the Nigeria Badminton fraternity has been a beehive of activities lately. What are the intentions?
Well, part of the promises we made during the elections was to give the players a very busy calendar. I always say something that no matter how good a player is, if you train from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, if you don't have competitions, there's no way you can really evaluate how good your game is. So we felt strongly that we needed to expose these players to more competitions, both within and outside the country. So it was a kind of target we set for ourselves, that we're going to hit the ground running and make sure we have as many competitions as possible for our players.
Well, you successfully staged 2 national championships back-to-back. What was the level of competitiveness? Your thoughts?
Well, very high. The standard was very high. In fact, to be very frank with you, we were pleasantly surprised at the level of the game played by the players, because we are taught, because they've not been having a lot of national championships in quite a number of years, the standard was going to be low, but we were really shocked. Well, I think it was partly because we had told everybody that the competitions were coming, so people had a bit of time to prepare. And I must tell you that the standard was quite high.
Okay, Francis, are you considering, a state or national badminton league that will constantly keep players close to their rackets?
Well, we are working on that. We are first and foremost, we are challenging the zonal reps. We want activities in the game in every zone. We have some zones that are lagging behind. We want to bring them up to speed to the same level with all the other zones. So we want to have zonal competitions. Of course, if we start from the states and then move on to the zonal before we get to the national. The league, what we are planning is to have something, we have quite a number of badminton clubs. Of course, membership is basically veterans who just play the game for fun and relaxation. But we think strongly that it's a very good resource avenue for us to tap in, because there are quite a number of them who are also very passionate about the game and they are ready to put in some kind of support and sponsorship. So we are trying to see how we can do something that is going to be revolving around the clubs.
Okay, how soon will badminton become a popular sport, perhaps as popular as football in Nigeria?
Well, the potentials are very, they are quite there, and I can tell you that the future is very bright for the sport in Nigeria. What I have found out in my travel around the country is that the game is getting very popular, especially among the veterans. That's why we have a lot of clubs, badminton clubs in Nigeria. But we've not been able to take advantage of this, which is what we intend to do. So we're also intending to take the game to schools, the grassroots program. We want to take the game of badminton back to schools. And that is, for me, that is the foundation for a very successful campaign to make it a very popular game in the country. So those 2 aspects, take advantage of the clubs and then take advantage of the schools. It's going to be a two-pronged approach, and I can tell you that it's going to come out with very successful results.
Well, Francis Obi is the president of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria. Many thanks for sharing your thoughts with me on the show. Well, there was UEFA Champions League action on Tuesday and Wednesday. A total of 16 matches were played. A number of them were decisive, while some teams will have to wait until the final round of group games to know their fate. Every match produced goals, and that indeed is the hallmark of top quality club football. On Top Action, we catch highlights of some enthralling matches.
Cham working the corner short, and it's 1-0 Celtic in the first minute. What a start for the Scottish champions. Here's Neymar, the angle's tight, but PSG are back on level terms almost immediately. Verratti, Neymar again, same result, same corner, and they've come from behind to lead 2-1. And the world's most expensive player just makes it look routine. In from Dani Alves, Neymar coming around the back, and Cavani makes it 3. Such a simple goal from PSG. Neymar's delivery, Cavani's flick. Space for Mbappe. Almost inevitable. Mbappe. And the shot is put in for 5 by Verratti. Mbappe going the long way round Tierney. A tired attempt to clear. And Verratti, shot with precision. Hit first time crisply past Craig Gordon. Di Maria. Kazawa. Neymar. Excellent run forward from the full-back. Cavani. Brilliant. Absolutely magnificent. Parc des Princes rose to its feet, expecting a hat-trick. But instead it's Dani Alves that rifles it in. 3 goals in 5 minutes. Cavani missing his kick. Dani Alves got himself into position, and Lo Celso picked him out. And that is some way to score the 50th goal of your career. Won't have scored too many better than that. It was an evening that started in an astonishing manner for Celtic, but couldn't have unravelled more emphatically. PSG at their magnificent best.
Those were interesting highlights from the UEFA Champions League. Some of these clubs are just unstoppable. They have so much quality, and it's pretty difficult to bet against them even on their bad days. One of such teams are Manchester City, Real Madrid, who are defending champions, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, and of course Barcelona. These are clubs that are already through to the knockout stage of the Champions League, even with a game to spare. Well, Bayo Salau now joins the program. Bayo, thanks for coming on the show.
It's always a pleasure, Paul.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure Arsenal fans may not be interested as far as the Champions League analysis is concerned. But one thing is certain, and that is the fact that the Manchester clubs are doing well.
Absolutely, without doubt. Of course, Manchester United, I think they are very much in a kind of buoyant mood, more like, because if you look at just last weekend, they had one of the best moments you could ever imagine as a Manchester United enthusiast, because they had one of the big players back. Pogba made his return. So also was Zlatan, and you could see some flashes of brilliance. And of course, they went all go crazy, getting the net victory against the opposition. Of course, they didn't take that in the Champions League, but you also ask yourself, they almost sit comfortably where they are.
True. On top of the table.
So you would imagine that.
That's key for them.
There's a reason for them to actually try out some new players who might not have actually gotten a lot in terms of playing time.
Okay, well, for defending champions Real Madrid, they finished second behind Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League. That's in the group phase for them. Does that suggest a loss of steam for the team? I mean, they are defending champions, they are the team to beat.
Well, surprisingly for everybody who was very keen to knowing what Real Madrid are to be, I mean, they are one of the most premium sides, more like. And you would also agree with me that it's been really a big mountain they've actually gotten themselves up. I mean, it happened on the time when I least expected them to actually bring out some of these brilliance. And it happened at the time when players also seem to be gaining so much in confidence. Coming, some few games after that, one would expect that they should just roll over the opposition with ease. That's not been the case. That tells you that at some point there's this, kind of jet lag, or more like players getting with your own, and not, getting some needed result at some point could also hamper the psyche. And I think that's actually played a part. It's not that they've actually lost steam entirely as a team. They have the same old players in there, but some level of confidence just needs to be imbibed by these players. Okay. They don't go about in the dressing room fighting themselves because of one blip or the other. For me, it's not a blight. It's not a blight yet. I still feel that they could make some progress only if they understand themselves and there's kind of synergy. Already, the two big players in the team already, talking to the media, saying all sort of things about what the management should have done and what they should not, and what the players stand to be in the team. Ramos, of course, will take the position of having some of these new fresh pair of eyes in the team as a good thing. Ronaldo feels some players who were more like coming in on a high should have been sustained or should have been kept. And at a time like this, they could have come in ably well, for those that seem not to be giving the right results. So if you look at all of that, it seems some counterbalance in terms of arguments. And I think the management know what to do. Florentino Perez ordinarily would have taken, his stance like he normally does, but actually I'm bringing in a big hammer. Okay. But this time around, it seems to be, a little bit relaxed to see how things pan out.
Debutants RB Leipzig and Bayern Munich are looking like perhaps the only German teams that can really stand the test of time this time. But I'm particularly surprised with RB Leipzig's performance. They are debutants as far as the Champions League is concerned.
Everybody is, but I'm also very surprised. It came and they almost shocked everybody, took the whole world apart. But this is some creditably, worthy of mention players like Naby Keita. But I also know that there's been some formalities being made by Liverpool as to Naby Keita to get a player. So, and I just spoke earlier about the possibilities of we trying to akin ourselves to the fact that once it gets to the Champions League knockout stage, it becomes a little more tougher.
That's true.
And some level of experience will be needed at some point. I'm not too sure. I'm not too very much. I'm not too comfortable with the idea of having to see RB Leipzig as a team that will really shock or will do a big thing in the knockout stages. And the most crucial of the players, is Naby Keita. I would think that for anybody who wants to do well in the Champions League, should have the best legs around. So if you now have them being taken out one at a time, there's some sort of level of problem. But again, we're not too sure what they have in plan. In as much as we're talking about Naby Keita, there could be some possible replacement who would also give almost the same performance like Naby Keita will do.
All right, away from the Champions League, Nigeria's Yakubu Ayegbeni, the Yak, as he's called, quit football on his 35th birthday. Yakubu played for at least 7 English clubs. That's after making a name for himself with Maccabi Haifa in Israel. The player started his professional career with Julius Baja in Lagos. Well, Yakubu, I'm sure Nigerians will remember him for that terrible miss at the World Cup in 2010.
Absolutely, promise. If there's anything to remember, when you talk about Yakubu Ayegbeni, it's not one of those players who you just say and you say is not a big name player. If I'm not mistaken, he's about the second highest goal scorer or third.
Behind Yekini.
Behind Yekini, and of course Shegun Odegbami is 22, he's on 21. I think the third. So again, he's one of also the very few players who had a very good debut in the Champions League game, and also one of the teenagers who also seem to have actually scored a hat-trick in Champions League history. It doesn't come any good for you at the time. He's one of our legends, whether we like it or not, whether that bleep we had at the World Cup is there to, but you do have to come to terms that he's one of the greatest levels we actually had as an export playing in any top European club competition.
Thank you very much, Bayo, Salau, for coming on the show.
Always a pleasure, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay, despite the recent successes of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Coach Gernot Rohr never stops saying the team is still work in progress. The German confirms some department of the team still gives him worries, and it is apparent that one of such department is the goalkeeping unit. With Kali Keme on the sides, no thanks to leukemia, the hands available are yet to earn the trust of Nigerians. They have been called for Vincent Enyama to return, but the move to have the former captain back is looking unlikely. So the goalkeeper unit is a big worry, and pundits are making suggestions on Side View.
Nigeria's Super Eagles qualified for the World Cup having a game to spare. The team's recent successes have been commended, with lots of credit handed the manager, Gernot Rohr. The Eagles' current vibe and synergy suggests Nigeria may be one of Africa's brightest representatives at the World Cup, provided the players stay in good form, avoid injuries, and a solution to the goalkeeping problem is found. When Vincent Enyama quit the national team, Carl Ikeme was a pleasant replacement. His attitude and quality between the sticks almost made fans forget his predecessor quick. But Ikeme's ailment and subsequent absence from the Eagles has been a worry for the team's handlers, as the available goalkeepers are yet to convince themselves. With the World Cup just 7 months away, views are divergent over a possible recall of the retired veteran.
We had similar scenario back in 1997 before the World Cup in '98. Fantastic. Ike Shoromo had an injury. Dosu Joseph had an accident. We had the man, Peter Rufai. He was called back to the national team when we had Abionu Barawa because of that unfortunate game he had against Yugoslavia. That game, practically ruined his first team chances as far as making the World Cup in France. As the first choice is concerned, he still made it anyway, but then did not get to make it as the first choice goalkeeper. So on that premise, I think I would not want to subscribe to that. You don't force an unwilling man to come work for you.
If it's based on goalkeeping abilities, potentials, and capabilities, I'll give it for Vincent Nyama. But coming at this time, he might affect the chemistry of the team. Like I said, he might affect the way the team was built in terms of the qualifiers going to this stage of the World Cup.
Nyama returning to the Super Eagles doesn't guarantee us winning the World Cup, but it could tarnish his reputation, his legacy.
Regardless of the views of pundits, Coach Gernot Rohr had previously said if Nyama returns to fitness and makes himself available for selection, he will be invited for his experience that would certainly give him the edge over others. But if he does not return, then Rohr has a tough choice to make for the World Cup. Chippa United's South Africa goalkeeper Daniel Akpeyi is 31 and stands at 187 meters. A good height that should naturally make him the preferred choice, but his recent goofs have not helped his chances. Football fans still blame him for Nigeria's embarrassing home loss to South Africa at a 2019 Nations Cup qualifier.
Akpeyi is prone to errors, no doubt, but with dedication and hard work, he can turn a new leaf.
Daniel Akpeyi, I wouldn't score him 100% because to me, even when he was in the local league, he was not the best Nigerian goalkeeper. I think he was lucky to get a club in South Africa. Of course, he had a chance now to keep for the national team.
Ikechukwu Ezenwa is 29. He plays club football in the Nigeria Professional Football League. He's been given a fair chance with the national team, and so far he has covered himself in glory with decent performances. His commendable outings during the World Cup qualifiers against Cameroon, Zambia and Algeria makes him an option for the World Cup.
We've seen Ikechukwu Ezenwa. Ikechukwu Ezenwa needs to go and sort himself first at club level. However, the Chan will give him an opportunity for him once again to sell himself to Nigerians.
2013 Under-17 World Cup winner Daniel Alampasu recently has been getting invitations to the national team despite playing in Europe. He has never been favoured to start any match for the Eagles. Observers say perhaps the seedy Fiorens of Portugal's shot stopper is only being used as a training material.
Dele Alampasu not ripe enough.
He doesn't really have that experience. He's still on the younger side.
Francis Uzoho was Dele Alampasu's deputy at the Cadet World Cup 4 years ago. But the 19-year-old has attained maturity. His consistency earned him a place at Spanish La Liga side Deportivo La Coruña, while his performance at club level earned him a cap with the Super Eagles and a friendly against Argentina. Though he is the youngest of the available goalkeepers, Uzoho has shown promise and capabilities.
Uzoho, fantastic lad with great potentials, big future. Perhaps the World Cup could come so early for him. If you ask me, I'll tilt towards the man Francis Uzoho. However, I think the performance of these goalkeepers at the respective club sides from now till then will play a key role on whoever gets to man the goal for Nigeria.
Let's keep faith with the likes of Francis Uzoho, who covered himself in glory in the friendly against Argentina.
Nigeria boasts of a number of great goalkeepers that have proudly donned the national team colours in the past. Sam Ibiam, Emmanuel Okala, Best Ogedengbe, Aloyago, Peter Rufai, Wilfred Agbonibare and Ike Shoromo are just a few. The current crop of goalkeepers may not be up to the standards of the names earlier mentioned, but they pose the tendencies to improve and earn the trust of Nigerians.
Super Eagles striker Ojoyin Gallo is making frantic efforts to give back to the society. He is coming up with an orphanage in Lagos, and the China-based player is very serious about this move. We reported this story during the week, and we will now do a recap of it and others on Flashback.
Three-time Olympian Antonia Couch announced her retirement from diving after a 12-year senior career. The 28-year-old is one of Britain's most decorated female divers, having won silver at Glasgow's Commonwealth Games in 2014 and 3 European medals. Super Eagles striker Odion Ighalo confirmed it will open an orphanage in Lagos. The Ighalo orphanage will be launched next month. Ighalo, who plays for Chinese club Changchun Yatai, appealed to the public for support in his bid to give hope to the hopeless. Saudi Arabia sacked coach Edgardo Bouza after just 5 matches in charge of the Saudi Arabian national football team. Bouza's short stint in charge of the Saudis included a 2-0 victory over Latvia and a 5-2 win over Jamaica, but also a 3-0 defeat to Ghana, Portugal, and a 1-0 defeat to Bulgaria. The Nigeria Football Federation said they will pay players and officials a total of $2.4 million as bonus for securing qualification for the World Cup in Russia. The NFF also agreed other payments and benefits to the team to avoid a pay roll that marked Nigeria's participation at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. It was confirmed that Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius will stay longer in prison after a South African court increased his jail sentence to 13 years and 5 months for killing his girlfriend. Prosecutors had argued that the initial 6-year jail term for murdering Rivers Chinkamp was too short.
Well, it is no longer news that yours sincerely was voted as the best TV sport journalist in the Nigeria Sport Award 2017. Indeed, with every sense of humility, I hold this accolade very dearly because it is a testament to a lot of things, including dedication and hard work. Well, and so let me say a very big thank you to God, the Nigeria Sports Awards, the Voting College, and every person who made this a possibility. Thank you one, thank you all. And that's the show today. I remain Promise Efoghe. Bye-bye now.